Joni's eyes snapped open, his heart racing. The same dream again, a world of green code, a sense of unreality, and a bald man in sunglasses telling him to wake up. He shook his head, trying to clear the cobwebs of sleep from his mind. Just another day in the life of a struggling college student, he thought, dragging himself out of bed. As Joni walked to his first class, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The world seemed to perfect, to polished. Even the air felt artificial. He'd been having these thoughts more frequently lately, but he always dismissed them as stress-induced paranoia. In his philosophy class, Professor Johnson droned on about the nature of reality. What if, as Descartes posited, we're all just brains in vats? How would we know the difference between reality and illusion? Joni's attention snapped to full focus. This was eerily similar to his recurring dream. As he pondered the question, a notification popped up on his phone. An email from an unknown sender. The Matrix has you. Follow the White Rabbit. Bugatti Cafe, 8 p.m. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, Joni debated whether to go. It was probably just a prank, but something deep inside urged him to take the chance. At 7:55 p.m., he found himself standing outside the Bugatti Cafe, a trendy spot known for its high-profile clientele. As he hesitated at the entrance, a sleek Bugatti screeched to a halt in front of the cafe. The driver's door swung open, and out stepped a muscular man with a shaved head and designer sunglasses. Joni's jaw dropped. He recognized him immediately. Tate, the controversial internet personality. Tate noticed him staring and smirked. "You must be Joni. I've been expecting you." He gestured for him to follow him into the cafe. Inside, they sat at a secluded booth. Tate leaned in, his voice low and intense. "You felt it, haven't you? That something's not quite right with the world." Joni nodded hesitantly. "But what does that have to do with you? Aren't you just a social media influencer?" Tate chuckled. "That's my cover in the Matrix. In reality, I'm part of a resistance movement fighting to free humanity from digital enslavement." Joni's mind reeled. This had to be some elaborate prank or marketing stunt. "You're saying we're living in the Matrix, like the movie." The movie was a warning, disguised as fiction, Tate explained. The machines that control the Matrix allowed it to be made, thinking humans would dismiss it as mere entertainment. But for some, it planted the seed of truth. Joni shook his head in disbelief. "This is insane. Why should I believe any of this?" Tate's expression turned serious. "Because deep down, you've always known something was wrong. The deja vu, the glitches you've noticed but dismissed, the feeling that your life is on a predetermined track. Tell me, Joni, have you ever had a dream that felt more real than your waking life?" Joni's breath caught in his throat. His recurring dream ... could it be? Tate continued. "The Matrix is a system, Joni. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around. What do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it." Joni's head was spinning. "If what you're saying is true ... what can we do?" Tate smiled, a glint in his eye. "We can free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. Are you ready to see how deep the rabbit hole goes?" Before Joni could respond, the cafe around them seemed to flicker, like a TV with bad reception. Patrons froze mid-motion, then jerked back to life. Tate grabbed his arm. "They know we're here. We need to move. Now." They rushed out of the cafe into a world that was rapidly destabilizing. Street lights flickered, cars glitched in and out of existence, and people moved with an unnatural, robotic precision. "What's happening?" Joni cried out, panic rising in his chest. The Matrix is trying to correct itself, to eliminate the anomaly. Tate explained as they ran. We need to get to an exit point before the agents find us. Agents. As if on cue, 3 men in identical suits and sunglasses appeared at the end of the street, moving towards them within human speed. Tate's jaw clenched as he locked eyes with Joni. "They're onto us," he said, his voice low and intense. "Listen carefully. Everything you think you know is about to be turned upside down. The Matrix isn't fixed. It's fluid, changeable. Your mind is the key. Believe in the impossible, and you can reshape reality itself." With that, Tate turned to face the oncoming agents. Joni watched in awe as he moved with impossible speed and agility, dodging punches that could shatter concrete and retaliating with devastating precision. As Tate fought, he called out to Joni, "The Matrix is a neurointeractive simulation. It's all in your mind. You can transcend its rules. Believe in yourself, Joni. Break free." Inspired by Tate's words and the impossible feats he was witnessing, Joni felt something shift within him. The world around him seemed to slow down, lines of code becoming visible in the air around him. One of the agents broke away from the fight with Tate and charged towards Joni. Time seemed to stretch like elastic. Joni raised his hand, more on instinct than conscious thought, and to his amazement, the agent froze in midair. "Impossible," the agent growled, its face contorting with effort as it struggled against invisible bonds. Tate, having dispatched the other 2 agents, grinned at Joni. "Now you're getting it. The Matrix is a prison for your mind. Once you realize that, you can transcend its limitations." With a gesture, Tate sent the remaining agent flying backwards, its body dispersing into lines of code before vanishing entirely. "We need to keep moving," Tate urged. "That was just the beginning. The Matrix will send more. We need to get you out." As they raced through the glitching cityscape, Tate explained more about the nature of their reality. "The world you see around you is nothing but electrical signals interpreted by your brain. In the real world, human beings are kept in pods, harvested for their bioelectricity to power the machines that enslaved us. But why?" Joni asked, struggling to process this paradigm-shifting information. "A conflict between humans and artificial intelligence resulted in the destruction of the sky, depriving the machines of solar energy. In response, they began using humans as an alternative energy source. The Matrix was then established to distract our minds while our bodies were harvested as batteries. They arrived at an abandoned building. Inside, Tate led Joni to an old rotary phone. "This is our exit," he explained. "When you use this phone, your consciousness will be freed from the Matrix and you'll wake up in the real world. But be warned, the reality outside the Matrix is harsh. We live underground, constantly fighting for survival against the machines. Once you take this step, there's no going back." "Are you sure you want this?" Joni hesitated. Everything he'd ever known, his friends, his family, his dreams for the future, were they all just part of an elaborate simulation? But then he remembered the feeling of wrongness that had plagued him for so long, the sense that his life wasn't truly his own. "I'm sure," he said firmly. Tate nodded approvingly. "Remember, in the real world, I go by a different name. Once you're out, ask for Morpheus. I'll find you." As Joni reached for the phone, the building around them began to disintegrate, pixels falling away to reveal the green code beneath. "They're trying to trap us in a system reset," Tate shouted. "Quickly, Joni, answer the phone." Joni grabbed the receiver just as the floor beneath his feet began to disappear. The last thing he saw was Tate fighting off a new wave of agents as the world dissolved around them. Then, darkness. Joni gasped, his eyes flying open. He found himself submerged in a pink, viscous fluid, tubes and wires connected to every part of his body. Panic set in as he struggled to breathe, but before he could drown, mechanical arms extracted him from the pod. As Joni coughed and sputtered, trying to adjust to using his real lungs for the first time, he saw a massive ship hovering nearby. A hatch opened, and a figure he recognized as Tate, or rather, Morpheus, emerged. "Welcome to the real world, Joni," he said, helping him onto the ship. "Rest now. When you're ready, we'll begin your training. The war against the machines isn't over, and now that you're unplugged, you're one of our greatest weapons." As their vessel ascended through the bleak, mechanically monitored atmosphere, Joni grasped the magnitude of his newfound reality. His extraction from the Matrix marked not an end, but a beginning. The true test of his resolve lay in the harsh world before him. Under Morpheus's tutelage, Joni would master the art of manipulating this new reality, engage in combat against the machine overlords, and nurture the hope of one day liberating all of humanity from their virtual chains. The Matrix had been his prison, but now, in this harsh new reality, Joni was finally free. And with that freedom came a responsibility to fight for the truth, to awaken others, and to reclaim the world that had been stolen from humanity. As he drifted into an exhausted sleep, Joni's last thoughts were of the millions still trapped in the Matrix, living lives of blissful ignorance. He made a silent vow he would master his new abilities, become a warrior for the Resistance, and one day he would help Morpheus and his team take down the Matrix once and for all. The real world was a nightmare of machine domination and human suffering, but it was real. And in that harsh reality lay the seeds of hope. Hope for a future where humanity could rebuild, where people could live authentic lives free from digital control. Joni knew the path ahead would be difficult. He would have to unlearn a lifetime of false beliefs, push his body and mind to their limits, and face dangers beyond imagination. But as he looked at Morpheus and the determined faces of the ship's crew, he felt a sense of purpose he had never known in the Matrix. This was his true awakening, the beginning of his real life. And no matter what challenges lay ahead, Joni was ready to face them. For in escaping the Matrix, he had not only freed himself, but had taken the first step towards freeing all of humanity. As the ship soared through the ruins of the old world, Joni allowed himself a small smile. The Matrix had fallen away, and reality, in all its brutal glory, stretched out before him. It was time to wake up, to fight back, and to reclaim the future that the machines had stolen. The war for humanity's freedom had begun, and Joni was now on the front lines. With Morpheus as his mentor and his newfound allies by his side, he was ready to face whatever the real world had in store. The Matrix was behind him, and the truth, beautiful, terrible, and utterly real, lay ahead. That's the end of our story. Let us know in the comment what you think about IT. Make sure you leave like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.